Welcome back, WrestleRanters, to the 81st edition of WrestleRant here today. I'm, of course, your host, Bleacher Report, Feature Columnist Level 3, Graham GSM Matthews, here today to run down my predictions and picks for this Sunday's huge TNA Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory event. I've been watching Impact Wrestling for the past 4 years now, and almost every event that I've watched since that point in time, Bound for Glory, that is, has been pretty good. Really hoping for a history repeating to come this Sunday. Hopefully even better than last year. Last year's event ended on a sour note with Bobby Roode losing his Impact Wrestling Championship match against Kurt Angle. The year before, we saw Jeff Hardy turn heel and join Immortal. Now, I will admit that was an epic moment. I'm not going to say it's not, but it ended up, becoming insignificant over time. So hopefully TNA does not make the same mistake twice and actually books a happy ending for this year's show, much like WWE does with the WrestleMania every single year. So, nonetheless, to kick off the show, I'm going to go down the biggest matches first. If I run out of time, I don't want to go through the biggest matches the quickest, so I'm going to start with the biggest matches first. But yeah, as I just said, really looking forward to the show, and of course, headlined with the WWE here, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, the Bound for Glory 2012 winner, Jeff Hardy, taking on the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, who's been holding the belt since Destination X 3 months ago, Austin Aries. This will be one hell of a match. Austin Aries has been a great champion, signaling or foreshadowing a heel turn in recent weeks. Will they pull it off the Bound for Glory? I honestly don't hope not. I really hope not. I don't really want Austin Aries to turn heel this early into his babyface run. It was only a few months ago that he turned babyface, so I still see it as a little soon to turn him heel. But I think that's the direction they're going at this point. I don't want a repeat of last year with Austin Aries retaining the title with Dirty Tactics. I do see that's the route they're going. I do see Austin Aries retaining the championship in some form or fashion come Sunday. Jeff Hardy will win the championship at some point, but Austin Aries will retain somehow via Dirty Tactics. I'm not sure if this is going to be the main event. It probably will be. Quite honestly, I'm not all that excited for this match. I know it's probably the first time ever confrontation. Let me just fix the camera real quick. There we go. The first ever confrontation between Aries and Punk. Between Aries and Jeff Hardy. But even still, it's going to be a great match. But going with Aries with the retaining here. Hardy to win the championship down the line for TNA. Kind of to convince and persuade Jeff Hardy to re-sign with TNA come early 2013. Up next, a triple threat tag team match for the World Tag Team Championships. This has the potential to be a great match with the champions, the World Tag Team Champions of the world, my favorite tag team in professional wrestling today, Danielson and Kazarian taking on the tandems of Kurt Angle and AJ Styles, and also the tag team of Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez. Now, we saw the magic between the World Tag Team Champions of the world and the tandem of of AJ Styles and Kurt Angle at Slammiversary and No Surrender, respectively, and both teams got to win over each other, so it's kind of even at this point. Really looking forward to that. Adding in Chavo and Hernandez, they're not a bad tag team. I don't hate them. I don't like them all that much. I definitely think that Hernandez and Chavo would be better off in singles competition. More specifically, Chavo in the singles X Division Championship run. I think him versus Zema Ion at Bound for Glory would have been 10 times better, in my personal opinion. But nonetheless, they should add something to the match. It'd be a fun match. I do think that this is going to kick off the show. And I do see AJ Styles and Kurt Angle. I don't know here. This is a hard one. Daniels and Kazarian have been holding the championship for the past 4 months now, I believe. I don't see them retaining here after they retained last month at Bound for Glory, or at No Surrender, rather. Styles and Angle have held the titles before, and they didn't hold them for all that long, and they're bona fide single stars, so I don't see them going over here. So I'm going to have to go with Chavo and Hernandez here. Again, don't like the tandem all that much. I'm going to have to go with them as the new World Tag Team Champions. Up next, the match that I'm most anticipating, really looking forward to, match that I've been looking forward to for the past year now, Bobby Roode versus James Storm in a street fight, of course, with King Mo as a special guest ring enforcer. Now, this is going to be a huge match. As I just said, they've been building towards this for the past year since Bobby Roode was the Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, and James Storm was the hottest babyface after Bobby Roode turned on him in early November last year. This has been one hell of a feud the past year. I've been loving Impact Wrestling's booking as of late over the past year with booking this feud. I'm kind of disappointed that it's not over the World Heavyweight Championship, but nonetheless, it's still going to be a great match nonetheless. We kind of saw a street fight. I know a lot of people were hoping for a straight-up wrestling match between the two, and I don't blame you. I was hoping for that as well, but a street fight kind of fits the feud. If this is going to be the be-all, end-all of the feud, a street fight kind of makes sense after James Storm wants to seek vengeance on Roode for costing him the contendership for the Impact Wrestling Championship if Bound for Glory. So the street fight will be fun. I know we saw something similar last year between Mr. Anderson and Bully Ray, and that was awesome. So I really do predict something for this to be probably the match of the night, in my personal opinion. Can't wait for this, but James Storm finally gets his vengeance and defeats Bobby Roode. Not sure how King Mo is gonna really go into this. That's my main issue with this match. I love this dude so much that I don't want to see someone else interfere. King Mo, I know they want to get him some big name coverage going into his eventual Impact Wrestling debut by inserting him into this match. I honestly don't see him as a necessary component to this match. He'll probably knock out Roode or something, maybe start a feud with him. But yeah, I'd most definitely see James Storm going over here. Next up for the Knockouts Championship, champion Miss Tessmacher defending against Tara, former tag team partners. So it has a story there. It has a nice build-up. They had the match at No Surrender, a really, really good match. Miss Tessmacher retaining there. I like the story, the teacher versus student. It practically booked itself. They've been booking it well in recent weeks. Tara's been hinting at a boyfriend on Impact Wrestling as of late. So maybe he'll play a role in this match. But I see Tessmacher retaining here. I think that Tara going over here, it doesn't really mean all that much. She's held the title numerous times. She does not need another reign. I think she's just retired at this point. I know she's a great wrestler, but she's kind of getting up there in age. I don't see her as a necessary component to the Divas division. I'm sorry, the Knockouts division in TNA. But Tessmacher should go over here, put her over as the Knockouts champion. She needs to be really put over here. So I see Tara not winning here and Tessmacher retaining the Knockouts championship. Up next, Aces and Eights versus Sting and Bully Ray in a tag team match. Now, if Aces and Eights win this match, they will gain full coverage, I guess, to the Impact Zone every single week, or backstage passes, so to speak, every single week on Impact Wrestling. Of course, Aces and Eights will be going over here. Honestly, I don't really want to see them win. I'm not a huge fan of the stable. I liked Main Event Mafia. I loved Fortune. I liked Immortal when it first started, then it died down rather quickly. I don't like Aces and Eights. I see them as a retread of Nexus, just wearing masks. I know they're intriguing at some points. Some points they really don't do anything for me, but it all depends on who's the leader. If Eric Bischoff's the leader, fuck it, don't even care. I'm not even going to watch it, not even going to like the stable. If it's someone like Jeff Jarrett, gonna love it. I think he'd make most sense since he initially attacked Sting a few months back, and since Sting is going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, and Jeff Jarrett should have owned that spot, I think it makes the most sense. So Jeff Jarrett would be awesome, but it doesn't really seem like it's going to be Jeff Jarrett. I think it's going to be Eric Bischoff, but even still, Bully Ray, I think Bully Ray would be the perfect choice at this point and the most logical. If he was to betray Sting and get backstage passes to Aces and Eights, I think would be the best way to book it. I wanted Bully Ray in the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship picture. Obviously, we're not getting that, so I think Bully Ray losing in this match, costing his team the win and giving Aces and Eights the victory. I don't want to see a year-long rivalry with Aces and Eights on Impact Wrestling television. I want to see the angle in here. Don't think it will, so if they're going to go out in that fashion, might as well see Bully Ray as the leader of Aces and Eights. Might as well go out with style. Up next, Mason Ryan, wow, I wrote down Ryan on my sheet, so I thought it was Mason Ryan. I meant to say Joey Ryan, sorry. Taking on Al Snow, and if Joey Ryan is to win his match, he gains a full contract with Impact Wrestling. So now, I've been really liking Joey Ryan. I know when he first debuted, a few months ago, part of the Gut Check, I wasn't really high on him. I wasn't really high on his ability. I know he was great in the ring, but I wasn't really high on his look or his gimmick or whatever. And he's the 87%er thing, so he's got that going for him. But he's slowly won me over. I know I'm not a huge fan of him by this point, but he's won me over. I do think that he deserves a spot on the Impact Wrestling roster. I think him in the X Division would be perfect, or maybe even in the mid-card or whatever they got going on right now. But I think he'd be perfect for Impact Wrestling, especially guys with other ROH stars like Austin Aries, Kenny King, Samoa Joe, all those guys in Impact Wrestling right now. I think Joey Ryan would be perfect. So I see Joey Ryan going over here, maybe, but I don't see this match going over. I know he's a heel, so I think I see this match going down with him shaking Al Snow's hand after the match. Why would Al Snow need to win? The guy's like, he's a veteran, I don't even know his age, but he's a backstage agent for Impact Wrestling. He's an agent. If an agent went over a future bona fide star, a wrestling star such as Joey Ryan, that would make absolutely no sense whatsoever. So Joey Ryan with a victory here. Hopefully we see him have a bright future in Impact Wrestling if he is to win against Al Snow. And our final match in the card, and again, I'm taping this before tonight's Impact Wrestling show, so if any matches are made later on, I know a 6-man tag team match was was made last year right before the event took place, so that could very well happen again. Maybe there's going to be a pre-show match. You never know at this point, but I'm only running down the card from what's been announced up to October 11th, 2012, before tonight's tonight's edition of Impact Wrestling. So, anyways, last match in the card. Magnus versus Samoa Joe. I take back what I said earlier. I think this will open up the show, and this match will be for the TNA Television Championship. Now, of course, these guys have had a story going on for the better course of 2012. Former World Tag Team Champions together, dropped the straps, have been feuding over the last few months. Samoa Joe a face, Magnus a heel. They had a great match on Impact Wrestling a few weeks back. A part of the Bound for Glory series, been waiting for a rematch ever since. And I hope that the Television Championship, kind of useless at this point in time, but at least they're giving it some meaning with Samoa Joe as champion. I love that. Samoa Joe definitely deserves a push. I'm glad he's being pushed as Impact Wrestling Television Champion. But Joe to go over here, Magnus winning here would be awesome, but Joe just won the title like a week ago, or 2 weeks ago rather, so I don't see him losing the championship so quickly. But yeah, it should be a great match to open up the show. They haven't really built upon the feud continuously over the last few weeks, but it should be a great match nonetheless. So overall, the show should be great. Last year's show was awesome up to the point of the main event. I know I expected Kurt Angle to retain in that match, but I didn't really want him to go over in chicken shit heel fashion and then end the show on that note. But even still, it should be a great show if booked correctly, like last year's, up until the ending, that is. But Impact Wrestling 2012 long has been absolutely epic. They've had a year-long string of momentum. Hopefully they go in. I know they continue it going into Bound for Glory. I know the build over the last few weeks hasn't been the best build for Bound for Glory. I know it's kind of like their WrestleMania season. I think they should have gotten longer than just a 4-week span. I think they should have gotten 5 or 6 weeks leading into Bound for Glory. But nonetheless, it is what it is. They've done the best of it, what they can over the last few weeks. But it should be a great event, as I just said. Lots of good wrestling, a lot of stories that I'm really looking to conclude come Sunday's event. But it looks to be like one of the better Bound for Glories that we've seen in recent years. I wasn't looking all that much to last year's, given the match card. Same thing with the year before and the year before that. So I think this is the most anticipated Bound for Glory as far as I go. I love a lot of the rivalries on this card and looking for a lot of good action come Sunday. So make sure to subscribe, guys. Make sure to hit me up on Twitter at @save_wrestling_GSM if you have any questions. And check me up on PW247.net every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time to check out my thoughts on Bound for Glory, who I will be reviewing with Donald Wood this upcoming Wednesday night, so check that out as well. And make sure to enjoy Bound for Glory on Sunday. This is GSM signing out. Till next time, guys.